Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Coach Lilia. I am a narcissistic abuse recovery coach for men, and today I'm going to continue on the topic of parental alienation because this is something that keeps coming up with all of my clients. Most men I work with are dads, and they're co-parenting, parallel parenting with a narcissistic ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, baby mother. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We're going to talk about how to reverse, how to undo the damage that is done. And age is very crucial here. Remember that. So, kids that are toddlers are going to be much differently manipulated than teenagers or young adults. And sometimes you do everything that you can and you cannot undo the damage. And that is something that you have to be accepting of as well. Now, before I continue, of course, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel if this information is helpful to you. And of course, schedule your one-on-one session with me if you need help navigating through this. My scheduling link is up in my bio. Now, let's go ahead and dive into it. So what is parental alienation? You need to make sure that you know how to identify it, because this is a form of narcissistic emotional abuse towards your child. Because understand that you will typically pick up on the very sudden changes in behavior where your child, again, when I say child, it could be a teenager, it could be a young adult, it could be a toddler, but you will really start to hear the mother's words through your kid. They're going to start accusing you of things, calling you things, whatever seeds are being planted in their head. Notice the changes, please. Notice those changes, because there's a big difference between your child simply acting up because parents are getting split up, because they're angry, because they're a teenager, versus actual changes in behavior where you notice that hostility and rejection of you. Now, once again, this is a very challenging, very complex process, and sometimes you do everything that you can and you still don't have a relationship with your kid. And that is something that you need to feel into, because sometimes you do everything and it just doesn't work. That's life. So, but let's try to focus on the positive. So, number one, what do? You document everything. I'm talking about everything from conversation with a narcissistic parent, changes in behavior of your child, any sort of statements that you hear from your child that just don't sound like them, once again, hearing the narcissistic ex through them. Notice everything and document it, especially if you can get witnesses, third-party witnesses, that have also been noticing the changes in behavior. Maybe your child's teacher, maybe their coach, maybe your child started to get anger problems in school. They ended up at the counselor's office. So picking up on that and having those third-party witnesses, maybe somebody that overhears how your narcissistic ex is turning the child against you when you're not around. Make sure that you keep those people around, because those are all going to be really good people to testify later on if you're going to be revisiting that co-parenting rights once again. Number two, you need to make sure that you are holding safe space for your child, because you are the only healthy person in this dynamic. Understand that. You are the only one that can hold safe space, that can listen without any judgment. And when I say listen without judgment, you need to understand, you need to let your child simply vent. You cannot be asking them questions, no matter how much you may want to really, start interrogating about how is it when you're with the mom? What did she say about me? What is she doing? How do you feel when don't ask. Don't ask, provide safe space for your kid, because they're already getting interrogated on the other side. They come to you and you need to really create that sense of presence where you guys are just enjoying the time together, and if your child needs to vent, if they need to decompress and express their emotions, you need to make sure that they understand that this is a safe space and they can say anything to you and it's not going to get back to the mom. Very, very crucial, because one thing that children really have a fear of is that, what if I tell dad what's happening and he's going to confront the mom, and the next time I'm over there, she's going to be basically giving me the silent treatment, or she's going to be angry with me. She's going to be withholding love. She's going to be basically punishing me for disclosing things to you. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you address it with your child. This is a safe space. I want you to know that this is not your fault, that we're splitting up. It has nothing to do with you. Our conflicts have nothing to do with you. I love you, and you have the right to feel what you feel. And then let them talk. and show a lot of empathy. The next one here is that you should really try to let your child be autonomous, even if they're a little toddler, because understand that the narcissistic parent does not want the child to have any sense of self. They don't want them to develop that sense of individuality. And that is something that will create a lot of damage, because if you don't depend on me, I can't control you. And that is how a narcissist thinks, okay? You could probably feel this when you were in this relationship yourself. For example, if you're making all the money, if you're the one that's in charge of everything, you're taking care of the kids, you're paying all the bills, but yet somehow you feel like a little toddler. You feel like you can't survive without her. So this is something that she's going to want to plant in your child. Because if you feel like you don't depend on me, I can't control you as well. So it can be little things like, for example, ask your toddler, what do you want to have for dinner? Do you like broccoli? Do you not? And again, like, know the boundary between being a friend and being a parent. When I say be patient, it could be for a few days, it could be for a few years, it could be until they're 20 something years old when they finally connect the dots and they think, dad probably wasn't so bad. I remember how mom used to yell at him all the time. Maybe I should give him a call and see what's actually up. Sometimes that happens. So patience is everything here. Patience, acceptance, presence. Remember that, okay? But let's be mindful that, again, you're a parent. You're not a friend. Your job is not to be a friend. Your job is to be a parent. So if your child is being very disrespectful to you, you really need to draw the line. Children that are a little older, you could start to engage and ask about their interests. Do you even want to take these extracurricular activities? What do you want to study in college? Or do you even want to go to college? No, you want to pursue music or art? Okay, let's talk about it. Narcissistic parent is never going to do that. They're going to say, okay, you eat this, you wear this, you take swimming classes, you take cheerleading classes, let's fill up your schedule. Fill up the schedule so that you can be successful. No, you're not going to pursue music. That's not going to make you any money. You're going to study this and this and this. That is how a narcissist is going to be with their child. So make sure that you're the one that is giving them that space to be an individual that they are here to be, okay? To actually find what's inside. This is going to be so healing for them to feel so understood and supported. And to add to that, make sure that you always remind them that it is okay to try and make mistakes, because once again, that is not how the narcissistic parent will make their child feel, period. The next one here, I think, is the hardest one for all. It's to simply be patient. Be patient when your child is angry with you. Be patient when they're moody. Be patient when they're isolating themselves. Be patient, okay? Because that is all you can do. You really need to make sure that you are creating that boundary where you have the right to feel what you feel, but you will not disrespect me. Because of course the narcissist most likely disrespected you in front of them, so they are mirroring that most likely as well and think that that's okay. So make sure that you're drawing those lines, okay? You cannot be a pushover that is being disrespected by your own children, because without respect, there is no love. And again, there is a big difference between, are you acting up because you're simply of that age, because you're simply being a teenager, or is it because of the hostility that's being created by your mother? Okay, so be very attuned to that. Now understand that this is very important for your child to be in therapy, because you cannot be the only one holding space. You cannot be the only one that the child can go to for support. Because again, there can be that fear. What if it gets back to the mom? Maybe they don't want to feel like a burden to you. Maybe they're engaging in self-blame. It is very important for them to have a third-party professional, family counselor. It would be really nice for them to have their individual counselor, and then for you guys to also go to like family therapy together, because that would just relieve so much pressure off of you. And your child would have another person that they trust, that they can go to and actually unload without feeling judged and without having that fear that this is going to get back to mom or dad and then I'm going to be punished for that, right? So make sure you get your child in therapy, please. On top of that, understand you need to go to therapy too, because you cannot keep carrying all this weight on your shoulders. Because let's be honest, divorcing, splitting up from a narcissist, parental alienation can be like the tip of the iceberg here, because there can be so much more. Maybe accusations, they're trying to ruin your reputation, her accusing you of things that might put you in danger of having some jail time. I've seen it all with my clients because these people are capable of anything. Remember that there is no sense of remorse, okay? They're just trying to ruin your life. That's all they're after now. And understand that getting yourself in therapy is going to make you a healthier person for you. If you are healthier and if you are present and if you are taking care of yourself, you're a better friend, you're a better parent, you're a better partner for the next relationship that you will have, period. Get yourself in therapy. Now, very important, please, please keep the drama in your household to a minimum because once again, this is the only safe space that your child has. They're already getting plenty of drama in the other household where they're probably used as an emotional crutch, or there's always conversations about how terrible you are, look at what your dad did to us. Whatever is happening over there, believe me, that's not the atmosphere that the child wants to be in because do you remember what it was like when you guys were together living under the same roof? Do you remember the level of anxiety that you felt, walking on eggshells constantly? So imagine what it's like for your kid over there. And now imagine how do they want to feel with you when they finally get away from that. Okay, so please be mindful of that, especially if you're in a new relationship already, or if there's other things in your life that are not going well, maybe money problems, maybe once again court orders and she's trying to ruin your reputation and whatnot. Whatever is happening, your child should not be your emotional crutch. Minimize it. And to kind of piggyback off of that, please make sure that your kid doesn't get in the middle of conflicts, at least minimize it so that they don't hear you two fighting, her belittling you, disrespecting you in front of them, you yelling back. Do not get them stuck in the middle. Do not do that to your kid or try to minimize it. And also understand there is no need for you to have one-on-one communication with the narcissistic ex. Everything should be going through a third party, okay? Through a lawyer, through a third party app. There should not be any one-on-one like FaceTimes. There should not be any phone calls. That is completely unnecessary. Okay, because text messages, emails, you can monitor, document all of that, and later use it in your advantage if needed, period. Next one is that you have to make sure that you're always asserting your rights as a parent, whether it's visitation, custody, because the narcissistic co-parent will try to steal the time from you. Maybe they will schedule them to some activities during your time. Maybe they will try to book a trip during your time. You need to make sure that you set your foot and that you tell the child right away that, hey, this is our time together. I'm sorry, but whatever mom has booked during our time together, that shouldn't be there because this is our time. And maybe you'll get some bursts of anger, hostility once again, but you need to make sure that you lay out that boundary right away because later what's going to happen is that the more distance is drawn between you and your child and the more time she's getting to brainwash them, the more damage you will need to undo, okay? And whenever needed, if your rights are being disrespected, remember, you collect all of that evidence, you go to your lawyer and you readdress the custody plan. You have to go back to court, you go back to court, but make sure that you are fighting for your rights because understand that the narcissist is never going to have this moment of enlightenment where they're like, oh, maybe my kid should have a father. You know, maybe I should stop doing this. That's not how they think, okay? Remember that there is no unconditional love there. It's all conditional, and the child is simply an extension of self to them. That is why they are fighting for that relationship, okay? It's not about the child. It's about how to hurt you in the end, okay? And last but not least, as I already mentioned, sometimes you do everything and it just doesn't freaking work. And that is where you have to accept. And maybe one day your kid will get clarity and they will call you and they will understand and that relationship is going to be rekindled and maybe not. But the way that you should think, in my opinion, is as long as they're happy in their own way and as long as they're healthy, like physically healthy, physically okay, that's all that should matter, okay? And the rest, those are their lessons to learn. You can only control what is within your control range, okay? And please take care of you because nobody else is going to do that for you. Remember, the number one child is that inner child inside of you that is craving your love and your attention and your respect, period, okay? More love to all of you guys. And remember once again that you are not alone going through this. And I really want for all of us to speak up about this so much more. Men, you need to understand that being a victim of narcissistic abuse does not make you weak. There's hundreds of thousands of men that are going through the same situation where their kids don't talk to them, where, you know, there's outrageous lies said about them, but their reputation is ruined. And again, speak up, because that will only create room for other men to speak up. So much love to you guys. Schedule your one-on-one session with me if needed, and I will see you all in my next video. Take care.